Thank you for allowing me to speak with you today about cohabitation. How many of you guys believe that testing the waters before a marriage by living together or cohabitating in the place of marriage increases satisfaction in the relationship or even in a later marriage? You don't count.
No.
I agree with you guys on that.
No.
Well, despite what widespread belief is, that cohabitation will somehow improve the quality and satisfaction of a marriage is actually wrong. Over the last 30 years, research shows cohabitation does not lead to stability or satisfaction in a marriage. As a matter of fact, it leads to dissatisfaction in a marriage with individuals, couples, and children all within that compared to marriage. The God-sanctioned idea of marriage is in jeopardy of becoming non-existent to those who are misinformed about cohabitation or have faulty information about cohabitation. Now, as a Christian mental health director and unfortunately somebody who's been in that position before, I think I understand the issue that comes with cohabitation and also how it affects relationships and traditional marriage. Cohabitation before or in place of marriage is a huge problem in America today. It threatens to destroy the idea of marriage that is blessed by God Himself. We're called by God to make good decisions not only for ourselves, but also for the other person involved in that relationship. To confirm the previous statements, first I'm going to give you some stats on cohabitation, both from the past and the present, and also I'm going to address the myths of the benefits of cohabitation, and then in conclusion we're going to find out what we can do about this problem of cohabitation. So let's consider some numbers. The stakes are high. According to the National Health Statistics Report, in recent years, women ages 15 to 44 were increasingly likely to cohabitate with partners as a first union rather than marriage. Between 2006 and 2010, 48% of women cohabitated as a first union, compared with 34% in 1995. During this time period of the interview of these women, cohabitation as a first union led to lower percentages of women who actually in their first union became married, and that being 23% between the times of 2006 and 2010. And that's compared to 39% in 1995. Interestingly, the median duration of the cohabitation of these women during the time of this interview was only 22 months, or about 2 years. In terms of pregnancy within the cohabitating unions, for the same ages of women between ages 15 to 44, the probability increased from 15% in 1995 to 19% between 2006 and 2010. Nearly 1 in 5 women between 2006 and 2010, about 19%, experienced a pregnancy in the first year of their cohabitation. And the probability of marriage out of that was only 19%. So what do the studies exactly show? Many emerging adults consider cohabitation to be a great prelude to their marriage, or to a marriage. That it's a way for them to test the waters before they tie the knot, but research tends to suggest differently. They found that even when the relationship was satisfying, cohabitants tend to be poorer, and their relationships were likely not to last as long at all, or they tended to end relationships earlier, more likely than married couples were. And they were also more likely to fight when they were angry. Cohabitation does not prevent problems arising after they were to get married, after their wedding. It doesn't prevent problems from arising as some people think it does. The scientific studies found that those who lived together before marriage were more likely to divorce. No research suggests that there are any benefits of cohabitation over marriage. Brigham Young University gave quite a few reasons, actually, of why marriage is better than cohabitation. They said that married couples have long-term contracts that encourages an emotional investment in their relationship. Cohabitants feel less secure in their relationships, and they're less likely to view their sexual relationships as permanently exclusive, and they're also more likely to cheat on, or be unfaithful rather, to their significant other than a married couple would. Cohabitation also affects the children involved. Studies have shown that children out of a lot of cohabitating relationships have poorer emotional development. Married couples are better off financially also than cohabitators. They tend, and that's because usually they tend to monitor each other's spendings. When people in a cohabitating relationship would have their own bank accounts and things like that. And according to research, a married couple has a better sex life as well. But the biggest reason marriage is better is because God values it, and He has given it to us as a way of honoring Him. So to conclude, we have seen that the stakes are in fact high when it comes to cohabitation. The statistics are from relevant studies that show that cohabitation is not beneficial over the long term. Cohabitation increases temptation of premarital sex and also increases pregnancy within those relationships. And it does not always end in marriage. The God-given value of marriage is at stake of becoming obsolete due to the faulty information or lack of information whatsoever that people get about cohabitation. To express this moving away, in 1969, there was a 1969 Gallup poll that showed 66% of Americans believed that premarital sex was wrong. Then by 2009, a Gallup poll was also shown that 60% of Americans felt that premarital sex was okay. Almost like a complete turnaround. So I ask you today that we educate more young emerging adults on the dangers of cohabitation, and at the same time educate them on the God-given values of traditional marriage, and ask them to make a decision with the knowledge that cohabitation will affect the rest of their lives. Thank you.